Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today is going to be something a little bit different. I've been having a problem on my 2002 Subaru WRX where whenever I'm driving the car I get that voltage battery light that keeps flashing. I'll also get a brake light, like whenever your e-brake's up, that light will flash, and also my ABS light has started flashing. So at first I thought that maybe this was the alternator because I just got this battery replaced like 3 weeks ago, so I didn't think that it was the battery at all. So the next thing that would cause that problem would just be the alternator. So I got a test done at Advanced Auto Parts, and on this paper they tested everything. They said the alternator seems fine. So I think the first thing that we should go ahead and check is in the fuse box. If that fuse pops, that could just be an easy fix for something. Obviously if a fuse pops, it can probably be a problem with something else, and that's what made the fuse blow, but we'll check that first since that would be the easiest thing to replace firsthand. If that's not the case, then we're going to go ahead, pop this cover off. We're going to check the belts, see if anything looks weird with the belts or the pulleys. We can start the car, take a look at those. If it's not there, then we're going to go ahead, check these connections in here. Maybe they just need cleaned off or something, and if that's not it, I'm going to go around and check all the grounds connections that go straight to the alternator, because it could just be a connector. So whenever I was having a problem before with my misfire on cylinder 3, a clip had just broken off the coil pack, so it wasn't able to seat the whole way in and get that spark. So that was just a simple fix before, and that was causing a bunch of problems with the engine. So maybe like on this connector the clip broke off, maybe this isn't tightened down enough, maybe one of the ground wires just isn't all the way seated, or the wires are like corroding or something. So we'll go ahead and take a look at everything. I'll take you guys with me so that way you can make sure you do all your checks if you have the same problem as this. And yeah, we'll go into that right now. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna go ahead and take a look at is the main fuse relay box. So in here, one of the fuses goes to the alternator, and make sure that it works. So to open that, you just go to this open tab, push that towards this direction, pull that, and there's 2 tabs on the bottom. It should just pop right off. You also have replacement fuses if you need to replace any of them. This helps you so you can grab them out of there. So this one right here, this 10 amp, is the one that goes to the alternator. So we'll just go ahead and pick that one out, take a good look at it. As you can see, it's not detached or broken in the center of it. If the fuse did pop, that will be detached, which means you have to replace the fuse, which it could just be that the fuse popped, but usually means that something else wiring wise is what made the fuse to pop. So since that's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in, push it down, make sure it's in there good. So we know it's not anything in the fuse box that's wrong with it, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this cover back on, make sure that's on there good. And then we're gonna go ahead over here. This is not normally here, it just broke off, and that's the only way I can keep it down for me. You want to go ahead and pop this off and this off. It's a metric 10, it should come off pretty easily. And then we're gonna go ahead and check out the belts, see if anything looks weird down there. We can start the car and see how it looks. So to pop this cover off, like I said, you're gonna want your 10, that on your ratchet. This one should be the same. Now for this part, you can do whatever you're most comfortable with. I just let this rest on here, and then I can flip it up and take a look at the belts down there and see if anything looks off with them. We're just gonna see if anything looks weird with the belts as they're spinning with the car running. Okay, so as you can see, now I have the car running. We're just gonna go ahead and lift the cover up, see if we can see if the belt is slipping at all, see if any of the pulleys aren't tight enough, just see if anything is not looking normal and is out of the ordinary. So as you can see, nothing seemed out of the ordinary whenever that was running. If that's what yours looks like, I would say everything looks good with it. Now we can just press down on them a little bit, see if they seem loose. Those actually look pretty good to me. So I don't think it's any of the belts, tensioners, or pulleys, so I think that's a safe bet. So what we're gonna check is this connector right here. We're gonna check this one. Maybe it's just dirty, maybe one of the wires is corroding, something like that. And then if it's not either of those 2 things, we're gonna go through, check the ground, see if anything like that is corroded and leading to this problem. Okay, the GoPro has died, so we're gonna be resorting to the iPhone cam. So the first thing we're gonna check out is this right here. You just wanna pull this cap off and take a look down here. Is there any corrosion? Mine actually looks fine. There's no movement in it whenever I pull on it. I don't see any exposed wires or anything. Of course, there's gonna be some dirt on there, but there's no exposed wires or anything. So the next thing would be to check this. There's a clip right back there, as you can see. So you can just take a flathead, press that towards you, and this will pop right out, and you can go ahead and check that out. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So as I said, we used our flathead right here. Press the tab on the back side, and it just pulled right out. So now we can take a look inside the connector right down there. It looks to be pretty clean. I don't see anything that would be wrong with that. That connector looks pretty good. So let's take a look at this one. So that looks pretty good too. I don't see any reason why that would be acting up, but I might spray some cleaner in there just to see if that clears it up. This also gives us a chance to look at the wires in here. I would say those look pretty good. It doesn't look like there's any fraying or anything in there. So with that being said, I guess it's time to check grounds, because these two cables seem to be perfectly fine. So at this point, we just gotta check grounds, see if anything's wrong with that. Also, I saw that if you disconnect your ground from the battery for about 5 minutes, that can help reset any problems within the system. So I figured I'd give that a try while I'm looking around. So as you can see, the problem with my car is the internal diode bridge that's actually inside of the alternator. So before, whenever I was revving the car with this green clip inserted into the alternator, you'll see that the lights start flashing. The battery light and the ABS light will both start flashing. But then in the second test, we went ahead and removed this green cable right here. And whenever we do that and rev the car, it no longer has those lights come on. So that means that there's an internal diode bridge error, which is what converts your AC to DC current. So because of that problem, the alternator does need replaced. So even though the test from Advanced Auto came back saying that the alternator was good, that internal diode bridge error doesn't always show up on the test, and you can't see them whenever they do test that. So I think this alternator is going to have to be replaced after all. All right, so as you can see, got this brand spanking new alternator in there. You can tell because it's the shiniest thing in the engine bay. So with that replaced, if it was the voltage regulator that was inside of the alternator, we'll be able to tell by starting the car and doing the same test that we did before. So last time, that ABS, the battery, and the brake light would flash whenever we would rev the car. So let's see if that happens again. I mean, it looks good to me. I drove around the block. You can see I did about 10 miles. I wasn't getting those lights flashing anymore. My headlights have been a lot better. They haven't been flashing and going in and out as much. These dash lights used to do the same thing, and the radio would sometimes go out, but it hasn't been doing that anymore. So I think replacing the alternator did solve my electrical problem in this case. With that being said though, guys, I hope that this video helped you be able to try and figure out what's wrong with your car. It's not always the alternator. It could be some of the other things that I went over in this video. So I hope this helps you trace down your electrical problems. And if it is the alternator, that is unfortunate. I was hoping it wasn't that, because it is a $300 replacement, but in my case, that's what it was that I had to replace. But good luck, you guys. I hope you can solve your problems too, and I'll see you guys in the next one.